In this video, I just want to talk about the syllabus. Obviously, you can all read, and you don't need me to read to you, and that's not my intent here. But kind of like if we were in class for the first day, we would talk about this document, and I would kind of fill in some of the holes and whatnot, and some of the nuances, so that we were all on the same page. And that's what I intend to do here. Okay. So I give you my contact information first. By far, the easiest way to contact me is by email. For those of you who have already emailed me, we're only 2 days into the class, so it's not like we've had that much experience. But for those of you who have emailed me, I think I've generally replied within minutes. I'm a little fast right now, only because I'm not getting too many emails. So it'll probably slow down a little bit, but not that much. You should basically, and when I say here how to contact me, you really should get an email response from me within a day. Even if it's something rather pressing and it's on the weekend. It's a 6-week class. We don't really have a lot of time to say, I'll reply to you later when I have the time or whatnot. We don't have a lot of time. So, just email me. If you don't get a response from me within 24 hours, or if you're really concerned that I'm just not going to reply fast enough, totally email me again, or really push on me like, I really need a response right away. This is really important to me. Something along those lines. I'm not going to take any offense. I'm not going to get pissed off or anything like that. Like, that's just not my style in general. So, if I missed the email, I apologize already. Just email me again and say, sorry, you might not have seen this, or you could just forward what you had sent me earlier. And a million apologies for having missed it the first time. But generally, I feel so guilty after you send me the email a second time. It's like the first thing on my list, that day. Okay. We have here a description of the class that comes from the course catalog. I did not write this. I think that'd be a horrible sentence if you wrote a sentence that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's call it 6 lines long. How many words is that even? Someone should feel guilty for having written that. I'm just really curious here. That's a 67-word sentence. That's horrible. I didn't write it. So that's the official. Then this is the unofficial, what I say that we're going to do. Basically, I break up the course into 3 parts. In the first part of this class, and each part takes 2 weeks, just because of the nature of our class here. In the first part of this class, if you've taken Econ 130 already, this will be almost a repeat of the information. But in the first part of this class, we just do supply, demand, introduction to what is economics, and we'll talk about the production possibilities frontier. Some just very basic economics. Then in the second part of this class, we look at the major economic statistics that macroeconomists focus on. That would be production, prices, and employment numbers. Then in the third part of this class, we look at how, we have some desired numbers that we want to get for GDP, production, and prices, production, and employment. And what we do is we talk about how the government can influence the economy to try to reach a desired number, as well as how the central bank, the Federal Reserve, can try to manipulate things to try to get a desired number. And so that's what I describe right here. We generally will not get enough time to talk about the international economy. I put it here because I kind of have to, and it's the original intent of this course. But we're going to be pretty pressed for time even with this 6 weeks. This class, this economics class, and all the economics courses are part of the social sciences division. My chair, the person that I report to, is Dr. Kosasa, if you have any concern about, that you don't want to share with me about the class or really anything, Dr. Casasa is also available to talk to. If you want to, talk about something in this class, some policy I have, something that I'm doing. I would hope that you would, try to talk to me first, and I could try to understand what your concerns are. But again, there's no obligation on your part. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel comfortable, and then you should talk to Dr. Casasa. Participation verification, I'm required to do that, and that will happen this week. It will happen when you complete the introduce yourself assignment this week. Here are the learning outcomes. These are important. I don't do the mapping and all that kind of stuff that I've seen others do. It's just, this is what I try to keep in mind as I'm thinking about what I'd like, you to take away from this class. What are you paying the good money for? It's for learning these things. Now, how will I assess you? About 40% of the class is on things we could say doing at home without a time limit. That would be your analysis papers, your homework assignments, and your quizzes. And I will make a separate video that talks about how to do these various things. So about 40% of your grade on these things, and then 60% is on the 3 exams. I guess the best thing I can say about the exams is I'm well aware that a lot of points on exams. I'm a bit more traditional, either fortunately or unfortunately, that's just the way that I am. And so there are a lot of points on this kind of thing. But with that said, you're generally not entering the exam. I'm not treating it as something where I want you to do any original learning or anything like that. My big thing for exams are no surprises. So you will not be surprised by what you see. Okay, this book is, as many of you have already seen, is a textbook cost zero class. That means that we are using a free textbook. It's pretty good. I'm conscious of the fact that where we are at at Leeward, and just the general cost concerns that many of you have. This is a good textbook that doesn't cost anything. With that said, my only concern ever is that, especially when we do this class online, I worry that, the homework assignments are a little bit tougher and whatnot because you're trying to do everything in LaLima. And LaLima is not exactly the fanciest. So keep in mind, if you end up frustrated with, how the homeworks appear and whatnot, just remember, I guess, it's me trying to make a trade-off as well and trying to keep the classroom materials next to zero in cost. If you are the kind of person that likes a physical textbook, let me know. I will even send you a link, and I think you get it pretty quick. But the used copies are really cheap, $5 or less. And then add in shipping, I guess you probably add 10. So we will be using LaLima for everything in this class, so everything should now be there. Officially, the classroom policy is that I will not take anything late. I say this not to invite people to be late, but, I do know that things happen. And so as things happen, tell me about it. It unfortunately then comes down to me trying to make a determination about whether someone else in your shoes wouldn't think it's unfair that you're asking for an extension. As an example, I think 2 summers ago, someone in this class, their cat died. Now, generally speaking, and the person knew that the cat was going to die, and so I could have said, classroom policy says when cats die, especially when it's expected, you should plan your life and get it done. Yeah, that is true. And I'm not dissing anyone that would say that. Maybe it's because I like cats more than dogs or something, but you know, most of us, not all of us, but most of us have had some pet that we care a great deal for. And I don't know. It's hard to separate out what should be done rationally versus the emotion that's involved with a pet, and you never know how it's going to hit you when your pet dies, whether it's expected or not. So I gave some extra days. In the end, I didn't feel anyone would think that I was being unfair and that that person was getting any special privileges. And generally speaking, especially when it's a cat dying or something like that, you don't generally think that people would make up something like that. Because if you do, it's bad karma to be making up the deaths of something. You'll be causing them injury. But in general, I won't be doing any individual extra credit. So you can ask, and I'll just politely tell you no. But my reason for that is I don't want it to be a situation where individuals, those who ask for something get something. If there's any extra credit, it will be available to everyone in the class. Then we have our academic integrity, which is summarized basically as not cheating. Don't do it. There are lots of ways that you can cheat. I don't doubt it, but don't cheat. I'm not saying I will find out because I got limited time as well, and I can only do my best. But with that said, you run a pretty significant risk. And generally speaking, you don't have to take that risk if if you are not coming up to the deadlines that you need to come up to. If you need more time to do something, and if you didn't get that time, you would end up feeling tempted to cheat, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to me and ask for that time. As a professor of mine in college, said to me was, if you feel that temptation to cheat and to take the shortcut, just take a deep breath and then send an email. And that was in the late 90s when email wasn't even that old. So it's still true though. Take a deep breath, send me an email. You've already heard now. I'm generally going to try to accommodate you in terms of some lateness if I can and if it's fair to everyone. And here we go, accommodation. This accommodation, though, is if you have a disability or something that you need to be able to learn effectively in this class. You can reach out to me, but there's nothing I can personally do. You instead need to go to the KI program, and you need to have that coordinator send me an email that then tells me what I need to do. I'm not really sure what the summer hours are for the Learning Resource Center. I'd encourage you to reach out to them, though, if you think you're going to need tutors. I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, I've heard, though, that especially for online classes, they end up sending people to like tutor.com or something along those lines. But hey, it'd still be help, and if you need the help, that's not so bad. Here's our official dates. Today would be the last day you can get all your money back and whatnot. Here's our grading scale. That's nothing new. That's not for me. And then we have our general course schedule. Basically, I break up the course into thirds. Some people really like this. Some people really do not like this. There's not much I can't please everybody. But my general belief about this is that with an online class, the nice part about an online class is that you have some ability to take on multiple things and then manage your time to meet all of those requirements. It's hard to do that, in my opinion, if you have to do something every few days and you have a deadline every few days. You need a long enough period in your deadlines to be able to, ignore this class for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, while you're doing other things, and then go really hardcore into this class. That's what I feel you need. And so that's what I've done here. It's a 6-week class, so I just simply divided it up into thirds. So every 2 weeks, we have a big deadline. July 16th, July 30th, and August 11th. And I tried to keep all of the parts about the same amount of material. So here we have chapters 1, 2, and 3 for the chapters 1, 2, and 3 for what we have for the first exam. Chapters 6, 8, 9, and an applied topic called minimum wage. That would all be in our second part. And then in our final part, we're going to look at, again, monetary policy, money and banking, and then fiscal policy. And then a second applied topic of Social Security. Okay, so that's our syllabus. I hope that kind of helps you understand how you need to do things. We're going to be making some more follow-up videos about specific things you'll need to do.